to the second instalment of Milled Meals for ID magazine. This time around I'm going to be showing you how to make a really easy and delicious autumn soup. It's chorizo and spinach with sweet potato. It takes about 20 minutes to make and you're going to love it. So what you're going to do, your first stage is you're going to fry up your chorizo in some olive oil. Now chorizo will give off a lot of oil anyway, so you don't want to put too much in there, but just a good swig. So I've got a big pan here that I've had on the heat. Just a little bit of olive oil in there. See that it's hot. Move it around a little bit. Chuck in my chorizo. So as you're cooking it, you'll see everything will start to go a lovely orange and it will start to smell smoky. It smells a bit like bonfire night, I think. Just keep it moving, don't want it to go too brown, just want it to see like that. You can see now it's starting to seal off on either side. So at this point you can see that you've browned it off on both sides, all the lovely oils come out and you want to keep that. That's what you're going to cook the rest of your ingredients in. You're going to take the sausage out at this point so that you don't overcook it, it'll end up tough. You want to put it on a plate with some kitchen towel just to absorb all the fat. So now you're going to add your garlic and your onion to this lovely orange oil. You want to keep this on a low heat, you don't want it to brown off, so you just want to coat it all in the juices and then turn it down so that it just cooks translucent. Now you're going to add your potatoes to your onion. And you just want to stir them in to the onion. Right. Basically you just want to cook these until they're soft, so it's going to take at least 10 minutes. So just leave them on the hob on a low heat, you don't want this to brown off. While that's softening, I'm just going to tell you about chicken stock. I've got about 2.5 pints here and this is made from the roast chicken that you might have seen me make on the previous Meals for ID. And basically what you do is, I think I mentioned it before, you take the carcass once you've got no meat left on it and you boil it up and you put a couple of bay leaves and a bit of thyme, there's some peppercorns in there. And you boil it up for about 3 hours if you've got that, as long as possible. And then voila, you have chicken stock, which is it's always better to have homemade, but obviously if you haven't got a roast chicken knocking about, you can just use good old Knorr or Oxo. As you can see, mine's got a little bit of bits floating in it, but that's because my roast chicken had tarragon in it, and when I made my stock there was obviously a little bit left on the carcass, but don't worry about it, she says. It shouldn't ruin your soup. But so what you're going to do is you're going to bring this up to boil and then you're going to turn it really low and cover it for 20 minutes. But as I say, a watch pot never boils, and I'm standing here watching it and it's not boiling. While we're still waiting for this pot to boil, there was something I forgot to say earlier, which is you should heat through your chicken stock before you add it. So if it's stock you've made yourself, then just gently simmer it up so that all the scum on the top becomes more absorbed back into it. Or if you're using something like Oxo, obviously you have to use boiling hot water. So just have that warm ready when you add it into your soup. And it should mean that it boils faster. Cut to pan, not boiling. I don't have a lid for this saucepan, so I'm just going to put a plate on it and I'm going to turn it right down and let this cook down for about 20 minutes. I made some croutons to add to the soup, just gives it a nice little touch at the end. They're really easy to make. Basically, I take any type of bread that I've got, and in this case it was it was a granary loaf that's had the middle picked out of it. And all you do is you literally make balls. You pick bits out, make balls, because you can see they're really chunky, which I like. May not be everyone's bag. And then you just break them up and put them on a baking sheet, and then just coat them, lightly drizzle them in some really nice olive oil, put some salt on, and just put them in the oven on your highest temperature for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, they're super crunchy and nice, and they're just a nice little extra to add to the soup. We're about halfway cooking the soup now, and I'm going to take the lid off and I'm going to chuck the chorizo back in because it's going to add loads of flavour. So that's about 10 minutes. So you just want to mush them up a little bit. You don't want to do it so that you end up with a big vat of mashed potato. You just, if you can see here, they're just little bits. If you don't want them, if you're like a fan of really chunky soup, then obviously just don't do this. It's up to you, it's a personal thing. So now you're going to add your spinach. Just take handfuls, put it into the pan, and you're just going to gently just push it under the soup so that it wilts in the heat. But you don't want to kill all the goodness, so you just, as I say, I've turned the heat off. You just gently mix it in, and the heat of the soup will just wilt it down. You want to add a good crack of black pepper at this point, and I'm going to add a squeeze of lemon in there. And just mix that all in, and your soup is ready to serve. And just to finish it off, I'm going to add some flat leaf parsley. So again, up to you, I can add something extra. And I'm going to chuck in a few of these lovely crispy homemade croutons just to finish it off.